Jordan, and what did I see? Coming for to carry me home. A band of angels coming after me, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Sweet low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.
On February 14th, 2009, we arrive at the Jefferson Street home of Avodah, the year-long Jewish Service Corps program that integrates social justice work with learning and community building. Here, 9 young people are living together, working in housing, healthcare, environmental justice, and discovering that all of New Orleans is a community. Everyone who came back after the storm, everyone who is here for the first time, it turns out to be a very small and connected world.
Coming for to carry me home.
Listening is a magnetic and strange thing, a creative force. When we are listened to, it creates and makes us unfold and expand.
Coming for to carry me home. I'm sometimes up and I'm
We begin our day with a visit to the Backstreet Cultural Center and a talk with its founder, Sylvester Francis, about the Mardi Gras Indians. Mr. Francis also tells us about how it was here after the flood in this sanctuary of beaded Indian costumes and feathers. 50 people all sleeping on the floor because it was the only place with electricity. He said that for him, those months after Katrina were some of the best times of his life because everyone came together after the tragedy.
This morning, year round for my shoes. Everybody got this. Whoa, walking do walk this morning, year round for my shoes.
David Rosen took us on a tour of the flood's path to the lower 9th floor.
That knocked, it was like over 20 feet.
Right.
And then once it settled at 10 feet and was there for like 2.5 weeks. Right now we are in the 7th floor.
Now, is this plus stuff that actually flooded right now where we're going?
Oh yeah. I mean,
all of this?
Our house.
Even our house.
Your house flooded?
Yeah.
The basement there?
Yeah.
New Orleans was already the capital of blight
Yeah.
before Katrina.
Uh-huh.
So some were
so some
empty
you can't
pre-Katrina,
really
but they still sustained water.
Uh-huh.
Some have boards on them because people have broken windows.
Right. A cemetery that was flooded?
Well, probably
Cemeteries are like above.
because the flood, the industrial canal wall broke on the lower 9th ward side.
Which we're gonna.
So the levee didn't break on this side of the river?
No, it broke on that side. And
And
it
so-
wasn't even a levee; it was a flood wall.
Right.
Well, I got up this morning. Whoa, I
Industrial canal broke here. So during the storm, this was full of water up to the walls. This land would have been covered, right? And if the water was pressing up against, and then this barge, which you can see right here, was left by this company in the water. It broke loose, floated down and hit the wall. It's important to look at this and see how many houses were here. I mean, literally how packed in they were. And when we drive down though, you'll see that there's nothing. It's basically open field. This is where the wall broke, and thus like a giant, all the water that was in this canal, full up, 10 feet, rushed in and destroyed everything. So imagine that that whole canal that we drove over was filled up to the brim with water, lapping over the top, and then it broke. So all the water that was in the channel rushed through this small chasm. It's like a massive tidal. And it, I mean, people have all seen the photos. And it lifted homes up off the foundation, and dropped them down on their homes.
Well, I got up this morning. Whoa, all I had was gone. Well, be this morning if I have to.
So before we agree, that's not the one that's directly on the street in front of us, but behind that tree in the middle of the lot. Okay. So there was a woman who now lives in this house, the really nice one. She was in her home during the flood. Okay, she went on her roof. It started to collapse. She jumped to the next roof. It started to collapse. She jumped to the next roof. It started to collapse, and then she spent 2 days in the tree.
I leave this morning. I have to ride blind.
We're now at about 1 foot below sea level, and we're heading out to the bayou, which when we get there you'll see is open water, but as recently as 1950 it was a completely healthy cypress swamp. It was filled.
Wow.
It was filled with trees.
A shortcut was made through which the big ships that supported the oil industry could pass to the Gulf. Thus, salt water was allowed to enter the bayou. It killed off all the cypress trees. Just as the trees were killed, Katrina's flooding killed 1,000 people in New Orleans. When the flood wall broke and the water rushed in, it destroyed this man's family home, which he had promised his father he would never lose. Now he spends his day sitting beside the dead bayou, telling his story.
Lord, she breaking on a dollar. Both anywhere.